So welcome to our prayer garden. We did one of these about 8 years ago when we were beginning this project. This is the main entrance, primarily the administration area. In other words, the responsible party that kind of keeps this area up is the administration. It has some signage that includes a map of the area, some information about the stones. It will have the bulletins, booklets in the little slots. You'll see the stones that we've come to use over time as representations of prayer. A little bit about that here. Every rock along the way is a reminder of the warmth of love with prayers of the heart passed from one to another. Again, we got planters, benches, beautiful pergola that Jack Archer put together. The oldest section of the prayer garden is right there, the nurses section. That we've used for dedication of medical and nurses and that kind of thing. And Rose, is it okay to take your picture? One of the participants taking a video. Is it okay? Okay. Rose Boston, the bride of the former chaplain here, she enjoys a walk every morning, and so do many others. But this is just a chance to again, enjoy the little bit of outdoors. Robin's Way was the piece that was put together some years ago when we did the Area of Hope, which we'll get to in just a moment. So we'll just walk through kind of backwards what we did the last time. Fountain, there's some thoughts about a new fountain, but right now this one seems still to be working pretty well thanks to Ken Lance and others. Point out a couple of quick trees, a little tiny tree right there above the bush. That's in dedication or in memory of, as is this one in memory of. This is, I think, the tree for the Wooden, one of the Wooden's children. This was the, I think this was the first section, the Garden of Gethsemane section that we put in. And if you remember the last time I did this video, I had talked about, I was telling Ronnie there's a little faucet that we can use as a spigot, is all it was. This is the Gethsemane area. Travis Mann, one of our, shows a little bit about here, in memory of Travis Mann. He was one of our maintenance department people. A lot of folks contributed to it, of course, but if you look at some of the what's here, the Gethsemane, there's one of the famous works of art that has a piece that looks like this. We hope the bushes will eventually grow bigger, providing some, these are too little. We may need to replace them with something like that. Give it some privacy there. But you notice the rocks that we showed earlier. These are some of the rocks that have been placed on the ledge for folks who come to pray. There's a place for folks to kneel there, similar to what Jesus's image would have been. This is a good place to sit if you just want to sit and hear the fountain. This is the St. Francis area. We have 5 animals that will be returning to this space. We used to have 2 benches here. They got moved. I'm not sure that we're going to keep those benches there because the way the benches are over there now, the Martin Luther King Jr. bench is the only one that'll remain. The other 2 benches that used to be here in the St. Francis area really kind of detract from the circle of stones because they kind of break those up. So we may move those back because they originally were purchased for this space and dedicated in this space. If you look at the booklet, you'll see them there, and the 5 animals that we've already repurchased. Somebody decided they wanted those 5 animals more than we did. Bev Long and I have talked about maybe turning this statue around, facing the sidewalk so it's easier to see. There was some talk about the scouts putting something at the very front of the garden, but it didn't come through. There was to have been a wind chime, that kind of thing, maybe another water feature. Again, some work to be done. This is the Area of Hope thing. Again, a lot of people, many hands may light the work. Remembering the Mother Emanuel 9, the first part that came together was this, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a bench in memory of him. And the quote, not sure if you can read it, out of the, let's see, out of the mountain of despair, a stone of hope. And of course, we've featured stones in all of our areas of the garden, a mosaic here, but each of the 9 has a memorable statement. The one that we were first given was by the Honorable Reverend Clemente Pinckney. That was Marjorie Wentworth let us use her poem, and she also quoted this for the first one of these that we did, a memorable saying for each one of them. So we were glad that Marjorie allowed us. She was poet laureate for South Carolina, and so quite nice that she would let us use her poem. Again, this is just a beautiful area, primarily for walking. There's one bench for sitting, and we tried to make it to where if someone did want to sit on a stone, there could be. We've had several services here. Now we're going to the newest section of the prayer garden, the prayer labyrinth, which is still in progress, being continued. Robin's Way is what I'm walking on. Benches all along the way. You can see 2 there. And then a seating area, not really a bench, but a seating area for those who may be waiting to use a labyrinth, because there's no passing in the labyrinth. I think 4 people could sit there if they were waiting for someone or wanted to use that. There'd be terraced flowers here, and like I said, the seating is right there, but the labyrinth is for those, some people like to sit and bow their heads and close their eyes, and they do good praying that way. Others like to walk and think and enjoy. So this is the labyrinth. We looked at the St. Francis labyrinth way down in West Ashley as our inspiration for it. We simplified it a little bit. Theirs is a bit complicated and long. This takes about 2 minutes, and the hope is that the inward journey will be in praise of God, the outward journey in service of God. In the very center we'll have the plaque, which is our mission statement. We're a compassionate Christian ministry dedicated to enriching the quality of all faiths. That's it.